In today's education news, give teachers a mark from home day, says the NEU boss, Daniel Kabidi. The only thing I disagree with in this whole article is this idea of it being a mark from home day. Why would any primary school teacher be marking when it's a complete and utter waste of time? But anyway, that's a different discussion. Let's get into what it's saying. Yes, it's been suggested that all full-time teachers should be entitled to 1 day a week working from home. And the head of the NEU, Daniel Kabidi, says teachers need this flexible working to try and improve the recruitment and retention crisis. It's not just this idea that 4 days in school, 1 day at home. We're talking more flexibility around staggered start and finish times. Currently, teachers are entitled to at least 10% of their timetable to do planning, preparation, assessment time, their PPA. This can be done in different ways, though. The Education Secretary, Bridget Phillipson, did say that schools should allow teachers to take their PPA from home, but that's not something every school can do. Some schools will split that time up into smaller chunks. Some schools just might not be able to give teachers that time every week. So it's just not consistent anyway when it's just 10%. Now, you ask any teacher and that PPA time will go faster than the summer holidays, right? And no matter what you are planning to do in that PPA time, it can quickly change based on anything that happens in school that day. So it ends up that teachers end up doing all of that unpaid work in evenings and weekends. So the average full-time teacher working 52 hours a week, well above the average of 36 for a full-time worker. It's being suggested that 10% should increase to 20% and the government should mandate this, which would allow teachers to have a day at home to do all of that admin. I mean, I think there's also got to be a massive question about some of the tasks teachers are expected to do, because I don't think of those extra hours teachers are working each week, I question how much of it actually has an impact. Yes, there's some, but there's a load of faff as well. Let's not beat around the bush. There's so much that we're expected to do as teachers that it's just a waste of time. May well be just ticking boxes for Ofsted, and we're not even going to start on them in this video. Now, this is something I've talked about before. I actually found a video that I made well over a year ago talking about this. To solve the recruitment and retention crisis, I would make sure every teacher had a full day PPA each week and they wouldn't have to be in school for that. And you know that video was from a while ago because I looked like I'm flipping eating myself there. Now, I don't think this would be the solution to all of the issues around recruitment and retention, but I definitely think it would help. As far as retention is concerned, the biggest demographic of teachers leaving the profession, 30 to 39-year-old mums who pay that motherhood penalty that if they are working full-time as a teacher, they just don't think they can be a present enough parent. This would help with that. As far as recruitment, a lot of the younger workers coming into the workplace, they want that hybrid way of working. And unfortunately, schools at the minute, they're not flexible for that. So it would help. And it is bad. The UK has one of the worst retention rates for teaching out of the 22 countries analysed by the OECD. In England, 92% of fully qualified teachers who left the profession in 22-23 resigned rather than retired. Compare that to France, where it's only 15%. Close look at the figures. 1 in 10 teachers leave within the first year of teaching. Over 30% in 5 years and over 40% in 10 years. Now, I know this is already happening in quite a few schools. I've talked about it in previous videos. A report from the DfE found that almost half of teachers and leaders have flexible working arrangements. Part-time working was the most common, 21%, but only 15% of teachers who work flexibly said they were given PPA time off-site. Now, as much as I agree with everything in this article, and I'll put a link in the description, including everything he says about reform, do I think this day at home, working from home is going to happen? Probably not. Why? Because for it to happen and be effective in every school, you need vast amounts of investment. But that's like any issue in education at the minute. The solution comes down to money being spent and money being spent in the right places. For this to happen, you are going to need to invest in making sure schools have enough bodies on site. They need to have enough adults, enough teachers to then cover the other staff who are then working from home. And schools are struggling massively with budgets. So as much as I love this idea and completely agree and think it would really help, I just can't see it happening. And so all that's going to happen is it's just going to continue. What was it? 40,000 teachers left the profession last year. Probably going to happen again this year. I think workload is just worsening now because of Ofsted. Ofsted's new framework is going to make everyone's workload worse. So that's not going to improve. That lack of flexibility isn't going to change. So it's not going to bring more people into profession. So it's just going to be more of the same, isn't it? But this is an idea I would definitely agree with. I've talked about it for a number of years and I wish it could happen, but it does take investment. But I'd love to know your thoughts.